Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you guys saw the last video that I posted with Diana, we are doing a part 2, and this video is actually going to be a, how would we name it, relationship video?
Yeah, it's going to be a relationship compatibility. So if you saw in the last video, we just did Blanca's birth chart. So with astrology, there are multiple layers. Like you could learn about it forever and still learn something. I have to learn something every day. Anyways, this is going to be more focused on how your chart affects his chart and vice versa. Okay. So we're going to look at all the love planets, sex planets, and make it juicy and interesting. Okay. And we're going to see how you guys interact in a relationship.
Okay, yes. So we're really excited. Elisa is really excited. Like I mentioned in the previous video, I will link it down below, but if you guys have not seen it, this is Diana, and she actually is an astrologer. That's what we would name her. And you know, she has been getting really into depth about my birth chart, and now she's going to be obviously letting us know how awesome me and Elisa's are and why we're not so awesome. And you guys are going to get all of the juicy secrets that me and him just don't talk about. So all the things that you guys are always wanting to know, if we really do argue, if we don't, she's going to expose us right now and expose our relationship.
The why and whatnot. Huh?
Yes, but we're excited. So let's go ahead and get started. And we haven't read any of this, so this is our first time that we're listening to this. So I'm excited.
Let's talk about the moon sign, because the moon sign in astrology, guys, it's going to tell you if you can really live with another person. It's going to tell you about how you emotionally react to things, how you're going to be in a relationship. And Blanca, as you already know from the previous chart, she has her moon in Aries, so she's going to be very reactive. She can come off maybe a little bit bossy sometimes. She can be a little bit defensive, sometimes. Like she gives Ulysses a run for his money probably, because he sometimes can't keep up with her. She's just a ball of energy, right? Ulysses has his moon in Virgo. So here we have a fire sign moon, which is your emotional nature, with an earth sign moon. So earth sign moons are a little bit more practical about how they approach things. Virgo moons, they're not necessarily empathetic, but they look at a situation, they analyze it, and they're like, how can we fix this? Whereas like Blanca is just quick to like jump into action, and Ulysses could be like, wait, hold up, Blanca, you have to think about this, consider this. So in a way, Ulysses is very grounded to Blanca. And the other thing though about Ulysses having his moon in Virgo is that the moon in a man's chart represents the type of feminine energy that a man is looking for. The moon represents the mother, and a lot of times, psychologically speaking, men tend to date women that resemble their mother in one way or another.
Babe, your mama!
So
I told you.
So
I am his mother.
I always tell her though that
I am literally like his mom. It's so crazy. Our personalities, him and his mom, like, we're like the same person. The way we think, the way we are about business, the way that we are on him, about life, like literally to the T.
Everything.
So what were you gonna hold on? I have to hear, what did you say about like before Blanca?
Mia, I jumped out of here.
Let me speak. You already had 30 minutes to do your video. I'm playing. What do you mean?
You were about to say something where I really interrupted you about spunkiness.
I forgot
about your mom. That you always tell me.
Yeah, well, I always tell her like, you know, there's like traits, or like I feel like we'll have the same like point of view with like a lot of stuff, you know.
Well, here's the thing. Your mom could have been somebody who was always like nitpicking or finding ways to improve, or like, you know, clean your room, or you missed a spot, or like something like that. And Blanca has a lot of planets in Virgo. So here's the thing. Venus is in Virgo for her, so the way that she wants love and the way that she expresses love is by doing practical things, and you're kind of used to that. So like if like you need like something fixed on your car, she's like, babe, like she can surprise you and do something practical for you and fix it on your car. Or she could just be really like on top of things. Maybe she's not the most affectionate person all of the time, and maybe she's not really like, I don't want to say affectionate, because Leos are very romantic. I just want to say that they're not like the most understanding people all the time, but she will do really practical things to show you that she loves you and that resonates with you, because maybe your mom wasn't the one that like, oh, mira, cariño, chiquito, and like, you know, like, but you will like do more practical things. You'll be of service. And as the moon in Virgo, you want to be of service to Blanca also. You want to like do stuff for her, and maybe you're not one that expresses your feelings a lot, because you also don't have a lot of water in your chart, and neither does Blanca, which is good, because if you don't, if for example, you don't notice when she's sad or something, she's not going to get that offended as long as you like maybe buy her flowers or get her chocolates. Like you don't have to say it.
She don't, stuff,
I don't.
Yeah.
She doesn't need.
I always tell him all the time. I'm like, I don't need you to like bring the moon and make. You know, I was like, it's like the tiniest things that he does, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
You know, and he does little stuff like that, like random little things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, you like, but in a sense, Elise, you have the moon in the second house. The second house is about the five senses. It's about being really mindful. So you're a lot more mindful and you live in the present than Blanca. Blanca is always thinking ahead or the future or what she's going to do next. So you can help ground her and be like, no, come back to earth, Blanca. It's not that serious. Like, you're a very down to earth type of guy, and she really needs that because she can get all over the place. But because in the synastry chart, you guys have your moon, your moon is on top of her Mercury and Venus. Like, you really know how to like communicate well together. You guys know how to talk through things. Like you feel understood by her and vice versa. Like if she's feeling sad, you know how to, or no, if you're feeling sad, you know how to like talk to him or get through to him, or you know, it like you guys have a really nice relationship. A lot of couples have a lot of these communication issues, but I think even though she's very reactive, sometimes you guys can always work through it because you guys have that loving, nurturing side. Venus is also involved, which is, you know, how Blanca wants to be loved. So you know how to love her just by how you are. So this is gonna make for a long-term relationship.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
You're stuck with me forever, babe.
Pretty much. Figured that out already.
So now I want to talk about your Venus sign, because your Venus is in Aries. So Venus also represents what a man is going to want, because it's like, if you think about Greek mythology, Venus is Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty, and pleasures, and all of that. So as a man, you are attracted to a woman who's very independent, who's a go-getter, who has a little bit of an attitude. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't mind that, who like can show you that like she's boss and can handle life, because you really don't want a woman who's like constantly like crying or, you know, all of that. You just want a woman who's a boss. And Blanca has her moon in Aries, so she puts off that energy. She puts off this energy that she's very independent. She's a go-getter. She has an idea. She goes out there, and that's like a major turn on for you, because she puts out that energy. So
it is. It's because like I don't have to worry about her.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like
Exactly. So that's like really nice. Okay, now you in your chart alone, Elises, you have Venus square Mars. So Mars is a planet of sexuality. So this could make you a very like sexual person, almost to the degree where you have to hold back a little bit because you don't want to overwhelm the person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's how we were though in the beginning.
Yeah.
She had to kind of like ground me a little more.
Like chill, dude. I'm like, where are we gonna park next?
Yeah, it's like it got to the point where it was like kind of like it was just like, dude, like
that's all it was.
Yeah, when
in
you
the
just
beginning.
like I can't do like anything else.
Yeah, like we wouldn't even hang out anymore. Like we were just banging all over the fucking.
Yeah, not that much, but
no,
it's like,
it was very.
It was kind of like
yeah.
At one point she thought that's like
that's all he wanted.
You know?
Oh my God.
I was like, can we talk? Like, let's go and like, you know, like have communication. Because in the beginning he was very like that.
Or like I'll kind of be like, dang, I guess it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he'd be so mad. He'd be like, well, I ain't getting them today. I'm like.
Yeah, but it's cool. I mean.
Now we know why we're there 2 kids later. Okay.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh, guys.
There you go.
No, like yeah.
That makes sense.
But like, it's very psychological for you, Lisa's, because I think sex is the only outlet you have to express like your frustrations and your angers, because like I think that when it happens you like release a lot, not more than just
yeah.
Well,
it's crazy because he always says like when he's like really stressed or having a bad day, And then like that next morning, like whatever, like say we're at night and Gucci planchamos, whatever. The next morning, he's like, dude, like I went to work and I was like feeling good. Like I felt like I just like off my so much stress was off my shoulder.
Yeah, no, it's like you become a Buddha after this. You're because you have Mars in the 12th house. And that's the other thing. Now that I'll get into your chart in a second, but Mars is our sexuality, and you have Mars in Cancer, but Mars is also how we express our anger. And Mars in Cancer, they want to hold in all of their anger, especially in the 12th house. Like we talked about, the 12th house is the subconscious. It's what we have behind here that we have to bring into awareness. So like when you get mad, you probably, Lisa says, you want to like scream into a pillow, but you don't really want to show the world because you feel it really inside of you, and it can eat you alive if you don't let it out somehow. And you can get, because Mars is in Cancer, which is kind of sensitive, you can get easily offended, especially when it comes to things related to your family. Like you could be very protective about your family. Now that you have a son, like you're going to get really defensive, and you would kill, die, shoot, murder for your family. And if anybody comes up, it's going to start this internal rage. Now, going back to the sexual piece, Mars being in Cancer, it sometimes makes a man who really gets turned on by the idea of starting a family and like spreading their seed and like just thinking about that. It could sometimes turn you on because Cancer is a very it's a sign that is associated with the family and with like women with like big boobs and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like I'm fighting myself. You're describing me to the T.
It's like on your head. It's crazy.
Like, is that how you think?
No, not too much of that. No, I don't think so. But I think like the one before that, when she was saying like, forgot which one it was.
Like when you're easily like you hold in a lot of frustration.
Yeah, that's that part. Yeah. So it's kind of hard for me to. But then it's weird because like if I talk to somebody, if I talk to somebody about like it's not really even big problems, but then I realized like damn, I was talking about heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, but then too, it's kind of hard to talk to Blanca about a lot of that, and it's not even like anything with us.
Yeah.
It could just be a lot of things, but then she's not really that easy to like listen. Like she's a bit same crap, whatever. Like do something
she's
about
quick
it.
to respond.
Yeah, and then I'm like,
do something.
So then with me, I'm like, I guess I can't go to her for that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like somebody else has to hear it.
So it's like, so what he means by in that sense, it's like a lot of the stuff that he deals with is business related.
Yeah.
So like whenever he's trying to do something and I know that he can do it and then he's not doing it and he's like, dude, it's not working out. Like it's no longer communication. It's now me being like, well, go do what you gotta do to get the business going. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm very like that, and that's where he says that it's like his mom. You know what I mean? Because we don't talk like I'm a partner. I kind of tell him like I know what's right, so do it in a sense, you know.
But then also it's not like that's bad because I feel like not many people are gonna tell me stuff to motivate me. You get me? Like I don't really get motivated by like a lot of people, but then she does that for me, so it's cool. But
yeah. Well, you don't have that much fire. I mean, you do have a Leo rising, which explains why, somehow you get attention anywhere you walk in. Even though you're a more reserved person, people could still want to look at you. You walk into a room and people turn their heads. But
I feel like I feel that though somehow. I've always felt that. I don't know how ever since I was younger I feel.
It says I don't even have to do anything. People just want to talk to me and.
No, I don't know. Even if I'm with some friends or anywhere, I just feel like it's like that. I don't know what it is.
I think it's because Leo is a fire sign, so they radiate warmth. Something about you. It's maybe it's how you talk and how you're so chill. People don't feel rushed around you, and you're very okay. You can have a conversation, sit down, no pressure, all of that, and you're very welcome. On top of that, you're an Aquarius, so that's an air sign that has to do with communication. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about as far as your relationship goes is you have the 7th house in astrology, guys. It tells you about the people that we attract. So Ulises has the Sun and Saturn in the 7th house. The Sun is naturally associated with Leo, so it makes sense that you ended up marrying a Leo. So you marry a person, and it's how you see the person. So you see the person who Leos are sure of themselves. That's what I'm trying to get at. So a lot of your relationships, even before Blanca, could have been with people, girls who had Leo in their chart, even if they weren't necessarily Leo. So girls who are confident, girls who somehow get center of attention, pretty girls, all of that. So you also have Saturn in the 7th house, which has to do with age. So it makes sense why Blanca is a little bit older than you, because usually people who have Saturn in the 7th house, they end up marrying older or even upper in status. I will say though, having your sun in the 7th house sometimes could mean that you lose your identity when you're in a relationship. Like you kind of live in the shadow of the person. And because you have the sun and Saturn in the 7th house, you were meant to marry somebody who probably made a little bit more money than you, who elevated you in some way. But that's where people with the sun in the 7th house, they need to have their separate hobbies, their separate like talents, to not lose their identity, because over time there could be some resentment if like you don't do what you need to do for yourself because you're very selfless. You take care of her a lot.
Right.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's why it's cool, like, we always do our own, like, thing. You know what I mean? Even, like, it's kind of hard because sometimes it's, like, obviously it's still a relationship, so it's, like, I don't like to ever, like, invade, like, the stuff that she has to get done.
Yeah.
And I always tell her, like, it should be the same, too, just so we can both always have, like, because I don't ever want it to be like, oh, I'm unhappy and I'm having resentment towards her because, oh, I didn't do this, or vice versa, you know? So it's always good to have our separate things, and, you know, that's how you live healthy.
Yeah, and for him to just kind of separate, that's something that we've always kind of tried to keep separate, which is like our relationship and like our careers. Because the moment we put that together is where we're going to have arguments or have discussions, because we're both very go-getters. And if we're both trying to like, I'm doing good, he's doing good, I'm doing good, he's doing good, you know what I mean? So it's like we're always like up-wanting each other, like not even up-wanting each other like it's a competition, because it's not, at least not on my side of it. It's just we're always trying to, he does good and it's like I want to go and like he motivates me to go and do that much better. If I'm doing better, like he wants to go and kill it that much more.
And it's not like a lot of relationships, I feel they're just like, oh, well, why are you gonna do that, or like, no, you shouldn't do that. And it's just like like, you know, they're like, oh, I can't do that because my girl won't let me. It's just like, what the hell do you mean, like, you know? Then it's like later they're just like complaining about like, oh, I couldn't do this because of that. And it's like, it shouldn't be like that, you know? It should be like a just motivating each other, really. I mean, you guys are the ones that see each other like every day and stuff like that, so it should be that way.
Yeah. Well, Lisa's, I know that you're very understanding, Amy, because having your sun in the 7th house, in a sense, it's kind of like being a Libra. So you see both sides and you're very understanding, whereas Blanca, you have your moon in Aries and you're very fiery. So again, you're quick to jump the gun on things.
Right.
So the thing about the 7th house though, relationships are like mirrors. You get with a person so that they can, like, within them you see qualities about yourself that you're denying. So having your sun and Saturn in the 7th house, this is where you also have to use your awareness to kind of know when you're being like this. It could mean that you're somebody who's very authoritative, or you can be a little bit controlling sometimes, like little hints of it pop up sometimes. Or you could be the one that wants to be in authority position, and that's where the conflict can come. Because as a moon in Aries, you're going to want to wear the pants. But something in you like may feel a little bit like resentful, or like you don't want that to happen. So this is where the 7th house comes in projecting, you know, things onto your partner, where you have to be really aware of what you're doing, because you have to accept that you probably do have a huge ego yourself, like a Leo would. You are very authoritative and you're a boss on your own. All of that, like you see Blanca, but you have those qualities that you see in her within you. You just have to find them and accept them as yourself. So
And that's what we were saying, you know, when I was telling you that people are always like, oh, you're the one that's always like, he doesn't, like, people think that he doesn't speak, and I'm just like that person. But I always tell them, I'm like, he shuts me up, you know, like when he needs to tell me like you're out of hand, like you're out of hand.
The main thing with me, I feel like how do I say it? I feel like if I don't, like, to me arguing, it's like pretty simple. Like if you know you messed up, like you messed up, but it's like if I have a reason to be like, you know what, like this is really how I feel, and like I have my reason for this, and this is why, like
It happened.
it's not the way you think, then yeah, I will like make sure that that's said. But it's gotten better. I mean, before I wouldn't even say that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like
It was always very like, I always told him that he made me feel like he would just tell me what I wanted to hear to just not deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I feel like I have a valid thing, then it's like you said, like that authority kind of comes in. It's like, hey, like this is how I feel, and I mean, she's the type of person that's not gonna like. She's not gonna be like, I'm sorry, like you're right, ever. But then after a while, I started learning that. I was just like, she might not say that, but she's not gonna do it again either. You know what I mean? So like I understand that already.
Yeah, that's something that he tells me all the time. He's like, I don't even need to hear I'm sorry from you, because I know that once you know that we have the conversation, you're gonna take care of it. And that's honestly, it takes a lot for somebody to be able to even do that.
So
because most people
that,
want that, like, you need to apologize.
Yeah,
and
because
I don't think I've ever even
like you're very mature. Like people may see that because you're more introverted and you're more introspective, but you're like wiser. You've always been wiser than your age. Like you're almost, I want to say, an old soul. Like you have a lot of wisdom that you can share with Blanca, like about what is right and how to do things and have patience, and you can teach her all of that, which is really nice, which is why you guys make a good blend of energy. So it's really nice.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, it's just like actually listening and all that. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Kind of like letting the sink in, because you can have like some, like I feel like there's times where we're talking about a lot of stuff and it's like
we have some deep
like
conversations.
pretty good stuff, So it's just like that's really kind of changes the way you think, vice versa for her or for me. So it's cool.
And you have Mercury in the 8th house, which is how you think and your communication, and the 8th house goes deep. So you want to like know why people are the way they are, like murderers kill people or why. Like you like to get deep introspective into things.
He questions
like
frequently.
like for example, if we see somebody do something and I'm like, dang, what happened? And then like I'll look into it or something.
Yeah, like you want to investigate Mercury.
Like why would they do that? Like
And I used to always tell him, I used to be like, why do you always want to know every
like she
detail?
happy like she's
I'm
also
like,
or something.
yeah, I'm like, but not even chismosa, but like we would be arguing about something, and then I'll just be like, well, it just happened. Like I'm very like short, like short with it, and he would be like, well, why though? But tell me why you felt that way, or why did it happen? You know, and I'm
like, what did you do today? Nothing, or how was your day? Not bad, but then it was just like the worst day or something. Like, she doesn't like explain anything.
Yeah.
So it's like it's crazy.
So Blanca though, okay, because you don't have no air in your chart, like no Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. So it's good that you're with an Aquarius man who can teach you how to communicate. Because yes, you're right, you're very short, you're all fire, you're just boom, 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 next thing. And he's more like, he wants to have a conversation, he wants to be heard, he wants to be understood. So that's something that, like, I guess you could work on in that sense. Since you don't have that much fire in your chart, she can teach you about how to get things going. Like, Elise says, go out and conquer the world, you can do it. And like, she'll push you and make you uncomfortable. It's gonna be uncomfortable. Being with the fire sign, it's uncomfortable.
But that's the thing with me, I work better under pressure though, so I feel like I kind of need that little kick. And then, I mean, as far as like her, like, I guess that is the only thing, the communication part, like kind of like knowing how to be aware of, like, because that's where I feel like her sign kicks in, where it's like kind of like, like, dang, like she didn't really ask me like, oh, how was this, how was that, it's like kind of rare occasionally.
Like we're already talking about like the next thing, what we're doing tomorrow, Wednesday, not that moment.
Like, oh, how's the work, or like just little stuff. Just like with me, I just need a little bit of that like interest of like, oh, okay, talking about something, or like, oh, how's this going, and then I'll be like,
which is usually like now in our relationship that we're married. That's where I feel like in a sense we're starting to get better, because now we do pillow talk, we're like every time at night, that's our moment. Like we don't see each other like all day or talk, he texts me and it's just like good morning, and it's like have a good day, and that's it. Like that's our conversation. So our nighttime, once Max is like put to sleep, like we're there, and it's like that's when we're talking about, he tells me about his day, I'm talking to him about what's happening, and then we go to sleep, and then it's like that's where it's at. So I feel like that's kind of where we started to add that communication in there, because like I said I'm always thinking about like what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow and not, or next week, and not thinking about what I did that day.
You think about what you're gonna do in a few months, but not the next day, because she's not a good planner. Like,
no.
Yeah, you're more grounded than that.
He likes to know. He needs to have a schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we were.
I'm like, let's just do whatever we gotta do.
We were just in the LA area like a week ago, and the next day she had a heck of stuff to do, and I was just like, hey, so like, what time are you gonna like?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know, we'll see. And I'm like, dude, like I have to go get some stuff done. Like I'm gonna be mad if I don't get it done. So I just woke up like at 7, I got my stuff done, I came back, and then we did whatever she had to do. But like I need to know like so I can plan myself, you know.
Yeah.
I want to say that you're probably the more like organized. You have some type of method always, whereas she doesn't. You, like maybe you're a little bit more organized than her, but because she can live in like in chaos, but her chaos is like she understands it.
Yeah,
whereas, her own. Yeah, but you have to have like a routine or some type of order or a way you wake up. Like in the morning, wake up, brush my teeth, go to the gym.
Person, yeah.
Like, and then, you know,
so
I wake up at noon.
So I kind of analyzed it like, okay, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna come back, and then it's just like her. She's just like, well, okay, we'll just like get here, whatever. But I don't know. It's like she's just.
Which in a sense is kind of good because like I've never been like that. That I hope one day he'll rub off on me and like I'll be able to like.
It's weird though.
Pick up on it, but like I can't.
Like even my brothers, both of my brothers are very similar to me as far as like having like a plan, like organized, like you know we're gonna get there and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. You know what I mean? And with her, it's like she's not. So it's like whenever we do travel somewhere, it's like. Hey, go buy me this, go buy me this, go buy me that. I'm like, wait, did you not like get any of this?
But the good thing is that you're very patient. Like
exactly, man. Shoot, it's crazy.
Oh my god.
Somebody else would throw me away.
I told her, I was like, dude, good thing I'm patient, because like, I mean, even about like little dumb arguments, I feel like most guys would probably fire you back and like say something to me. I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
But then even if we do go somewhere, like probably another guy would be like, damn, dude, like, don't you ever get your crap together? And
yeah, we would be fighting a lot.
Oh,
with me, I'm just like,
that's what I'm saying. Like people don't get it. I'm like, we really don't argue like that because he doesn't argue back with me. He's just like, you know what? We really understand. He's going to understand me, and it's taken a while though. Like for us to, you know, our in the beginning of our relationship, we didn't have a lot of communication. But now that we're married, like, he's definitely shown me that he really knows me, and like I really know him, and like we just know how to like not get under each other's skin.
But then too, like in the beginning, she was very like she wanted that reaction like a few months into dating, and it's like that's why she's very fiery. Like
so, like in the beginning, I didn't even know if I wanted to like keep going in the relationship because I was like, you don't show me any emotion, you don't argue with me, you don't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Like I need you to like make me feel like you care about me by showing me that aggression.
Yeah, you need to definitely work on being more reactive, and when you're mad, like let her know. Because you need to like find a way to release it because you have Mars in the 12th house again, and that's like it's gonna eat you up alive.
Yeah,
like if you don't.
It does like if you don't do it. But then it's funny because I'm like trying to plan it. Like,
yeah.
What am I gonna tell her? Like I'm still trying to plan it instead of like and then later it goes away and I'm like whatever.
There's times
about that. But it's like
there's times when I'm like you could have just said something. He's like, you know what? I thought about it, but then I was like, no, never mind. And then I was like, I should have just said it. Huh? I'm like, just tell me how you feel.
To some other fun stuff. To wrap it all up. So Blanca, you have your Mars in Virgo. So sexually speaking, you're going to be the one that wants to be of service. Like you're going to want to do the pleasing. Like, you know, like you're going to be the one that offers. Like what do you need? Like a Mars in Virgo, like, and you have a lot
See, babe, this is why I'm always taking care of you.
Yeah, like, but you wanna be needed sexually, like that turns you on. Yeah. Obviously, there's the Leo stuff that she has, which is more of an ego thing. So you want to be told you're the best he's ever had. You want to be told that you're like the most gorgeous thing ever. You know that you're great in bed. All those things, right? Yeah. So that's going to be, and then also how you want to be loved, Blanca. Again, it's the simple things. You have your Venus and Virgo, so you don't really care about. Well, Leo does care about compliments, but more or less like how you're really going to feel loved is through acts of service. So if you guys know about love languages, she's more acts of service, and you are more like somebody who needs that motivation because you have your Venus in Aries. So yeah. The other thing that I want to talk about here is your composite chart. Okay, so a composite chart in astrology, it's basically your chart and your chart if they had a baby. And that's a chart of the relationship. So that's how the relationship looks to other people. It's like the natural issues that are going to come along with the relationship. It's like the soul's energy in the relationship. So in your composite chart, and I'm just going to talk about this briefly, you guys have a Virgo rising, which means that the relationship is going to look to people like it's always perfect, like it's always pretty and nice, and you guys look very well together. Like you guys, there's a nice flow of you guys within the relationship. So that's good. And then you guys have Moon conjunct Venus in Gemini. So the Moon is kind of the emotional energy of the relationship, and Venus is how you guys are going to love, and it's in Gemini. So communication is going to be key. Mastering your communication, talking to each other with love, understanding each other, and not have it be too much on one side or the other. That's going to be important. The other thing, it's in the 9th house. So you guys are brought together to learn like about each other and like grow spiritually. So eventually this could mean that you guys like learn about different cultures together, or travel to like just travel all over the world to learn and grow together as a couple, because that sparks conversation so that you guys can like work on that area of life. You guys are meant to go on adventures together, and just you guys are going to be a social, like you guys are a couple that's social, that will probably, you guys will constantly be inviting people over. You guys will have a large group of friends. The thing is that because this relationship has Mars in the 11th house, and that's the house of friends, sometimes I want to say friends could like play a part in your arguments, like whether it's you don't like his friends, or you don't like her friends, or like that could be a major source of like disruption in the relationship. So I don't know if you guys want to speak about that.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Like,
I mean, it's not like, oh, I don't like your friends or whatever, but it's friends are kind of always like a issue at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily an argument amongst us. It's kind of more of like we would never put our friends before our relationship. So sometimes it might seem like we're not making the effort of putting time enough for our friendships because we're too focused on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're more worried about each other than we are of
right.
hanging out with our friend, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But then even it's crazy because like even this weekend she was gone with the baby, so then like I felt like I was kind of catching up with all like the people that I haven't talked to, and then I realized like, I mean, she might be like, well, like, why don't you ever do that with me? And I'm like, dang, I guess every day I'm just focused about you all the time in the baby. So it's like, that's my main priority. So it's like, it kind of shows when you get in situations where they help you like kind of analyze everything, like, oh dang, you know?
Yeah, because even his friends have told him, like, there's times when like he doesn't get invited to certain places or something, but when he does get invited, he's always thinking like, I need to get home to my wife and my kid.
Oh yeah.
Like that's always his priority.
Okay, so if that's the case though, Mars in the 11th house would mean that you guys do need to make time for your friends, because friendships are gonna they're gonna be affected if you guys don't be. But what was I gonna say? Oh my god, I lost my train of thought. Oh my god. Anyways, just like make sure that you make time for your friends, because then you guys can grow to resent that you guys didn't spend enough time with them. And because friendships and relationships are a little bit different, right? You get to vent more with your friendships, and kind of that's another part of yourself that you express with your friendships.
I think our problem though is because we don't have separate friends.
Yeah.
So I mean, like my friends are like my family, you know, like he has like his friends and they've all been his family now. Like now it's his cousins, you know?
It's a good little balance though. I mean, like, it's not like she has like, oh, we're gonna go out with the girls or anything. It's just more like, okay, I'm gonna go. I mean, nowadays it could basically be like some of your cousins, like your sister.
Right.
And you're happy with that. You really don't need nobody else.
No, and it's always been. But what I mean by that, it's like I feel like we've always got lost in our friendships because we do spend a lot of time with our friends.
Yeah.
We do everything with our friends. We don't ever do anything by ourselves.
We just started doing stuff more with ourselves. Basically a little bit before we had the baby, and then throughout that time, we started doing more stuff.
Like just me and him, because it was always like me, him, and our group of friends.
I think that's what I was getting at the beginning.
And it's like and then because we don't have that separation where like I have my own group of friends and he has his own group of friends, we're never separated. Our time with our friends are us together, and then we're like both in the same circle.
Yeah.
You know, so like we're dealing with the same stuff.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But I always tell her like it is good to. I mean, she's always like, oh, well, I don't have friends and stuff, but it is good to kind of have that separation at times, because then it kind of like it's like I just told her like you kind of analyze stuff and you're like, oh, like you appreciate like your significant other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things where like you go with it and we're like, man, like this is exactly why you don't.
Yeah.
Or just like anything, you know,
Yeah.
you're automatically missing like your loved one basically. It's cool.
Just let them be in your
Yeah, pretty much.
So now, like, let's change gears a little bit, because this is going to be the heart of your relationship, the whole reason why you're together and what will sprout from this relationship. So you guys have the sun in Taurus in your composite chart. So this relationship is going to be a lot about stability, having nice car and money, having nice cars, having money in the bank account. Sometimes it does make people really want to be surrounded. The couple is going to be surrounded by luxury things. Like, you guys both like luxury things. You guys want to like look beautiful and be surrounded, smell good, perfumes, all of like those tangible or materialistic things of life. So this can make the relationship very materialistic and very focused on looks.
Okay.
The other thing though, it's in the 8th house, and the 8th house has to do with other people's money, but it has to do with power struggles. So there could be power struggles between you guys regarding money issues.
Okay.
And especially because it's opposing Pluto in the 2nd house. So your whole reason for being together, I guess, it's to realize that you guys, aside tangible and materialistic things aside, to realize that you guys are worth more than materialistic. So don't like put money aside and look at, like, if money didn't exist, to look at the other person and see what do they have to offer me. Like, what do I really love them for? And that's what you guys have to come to terms with. Like, you guys, because materialistic and money, you guys will always make money. You guys are going to be like this major power couple, right? But it's all about seeking deeper meaning in the relationship. So why do I really love this person? And this could be a soulmate relationship, because it's the 8th house. So you guys need to develop that mind, body, soul connection, materialistic things aside.
I really never thought that we were materialistic.
Not materialistic, like we're not like, oh, this has to be name brand stuff, but I feel like materialistic in the sense of like, we like to like, we enjoy nice things. Yeah. And nice things don't have to be expensive things, but we do like to make sure like, okay, we look good, like not like oh, we have to look good together. It's just more like, okay, like we care about like our image and stuff like that. So to some people that is materialistic though. Right.
Like,
oh, like, you know, I don't care how I look, you know what I mean? But to me, it's like, it's important.
Because like whenever you hear about materialistic, you automatically assume everything name brand.
Money and all that. But
we've never, I mean, I like to buy myself like nice bags. That's something that's always been like that. Yeah. But I feel like we always do like to make sure that people see us as if we got our shit together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we have our shit together.
And you guys want to be seen as like this. You guys want to be seen as a stable couple. But I lost my train of thought again. I've been talking too much. But like I said, the only thing is like, power struggles could happen with this relationship, and again, you guys have to like learn how to be more, I want to say like connected on a deeper like level, especially sexually. Like sex is going to be a huge part of your relationship with Sun in the 8th house. So.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I know.
Not even. I mean, yeah, it's interesting though.
Yeah, for sure. What'd you learn, babe?
Yeah, we have to have sex every day. Not even. No, but
funny.
No, I guess like it's stuff that we know, but it's also like interesting to kind of hear. Not really that we don't know, but to hear how important it is.
It is, and how to change. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I feel like it's not like even changing anything. You just have to be aware of like what we both like. Are very like what helps us the most, and then like just kind of like you understand that about me, and you understand that about you.
Yeah, and I feel like in relationships, everybody has their differences. You know what I mean? Like I'm a certain way, he's a certain way, and I feel like we've gotten this far in our relationship in general, and we've actually built something good. Because I feel like we've both mastered that already, where we both just kind of get it. I understand what to do with him and what not to do, and he understands what to do and what not to do with me. As opposed to if like one of us didn't understand, that's where the arguments start, because it's like, no, well, you're like this or you're like that, and it's like they think that it's a one-sided situation.
Yeah, well, the good thing about you guys is that, like, you have Saturn in the 7th house. That means that any hardship that you go through in a relationship, especially when you're married, like, the divorce is like the last option for you. You have to work things through. Then you're a Scorpio rising, so a major theme in your life is going to be till death do you part. So you're going to want to work at it, and you're very loyal. Leos are like so loyal. They're like, if you ever decide to take a friend out to battle, you need to take a Leo with you, because they will have your back. Yeah. So you guys kind of share that healthy dynamic, and like you guys have a relationship that's meant to last like a long time.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. We're forever, we're together forever, babe. Till death do us part.
Right.
Well, that was interesting. I hope that
It got deep.
It did get deep. There was a lot of stuff in there that now you guys got to know this is a different level of my life. So, oh my god. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Definitely let us know in the comments what you guys think. Like I said, you know, I've decided to do this and just kind of open up about a lot of deep things into our lives, and we knew that there was going to be some spiciness and some not spiciness in there, and just want to know what you guys think and everything.
Yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yes, and if you guys have a significant other and you guys want to get a reading to see how compatible you guys are, or if she's going to tell you guys you need to drop them, you need to hit her up. But I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video.